Hello, everybody. How you doing? And I'll just dive straight into it. So apparently, you must have heard it. John Mikel Obi has dropped an absolute bomb respect to, the Victor Osimhen transfer. So that would I say failure on transfer deadline day? And before we get to hear what he said, because I'll be playing the video for you on here, I have to say this. I called it out from day one. The moment it felt like Chelsea were going to be involved with signing Victor Osimhen, I said this is a deal that you actually start early to try to see through, try to finalize. Fabrizio Romano gave his own opinion, or rather gave some insight, saying it wasn't something that was going to, be completed early or something that would be more towards the deadline day. And true to form, as it always is, you know, it was on deadline day. But for such a difficult deal, for such a tough deal, high profile deal, and I'll say arguably it's one of it should be the most high profile deal in the transfer window because though we had Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid, that was already had been sorted. The previous year his contract had come to an end. Obviously, he wasn't going to renew with PSG, so that was not an issue. It was going to end big money, obviously, but it wasn't such a saga. Wasn't going to be an issue. But the thing is, with someone like Roberto with ADL, the president of Napoli, it's always difficult. It's always difficult dealing with him. So that's something that should have been started on time if they were really, really serious. In my opinion, I think they gambled and got their fingers burned. But I mean the sporting directors. But let's hear what Mikel Obi had to say.
Next summer, we know where we are. We know where we've stopped.
Of money.
That's definitely not true. I know what Victor wanted.
Now, that's something that I want to address myself. A lot of people, start spreading the rumor and coming up with silly opinions. To my opinion, yes, silly opinions that Victor Osimhen wanted so much money, being so greedy. If he was greedy, there was Saudi Arabia. There was the Saudi Arabian deal, Al Hilal, 700,000 pounds a week. If money was his only driver, was his only motivation, then he would have signed for the Saudi club. So everyone going about blaming Victor Osimhen because they refuse to hold the sporting directors accountable. In my opinion, hold those people accountable for not starting the deal on time, for not doing what it takes to, and push the deal over the line. Let's continue to listen.
I know what the club offered him. I know where we got to. We finally got to a compromise. Both sides had to compromise. Paperwork, medical, and few issues that we just couldn't get over the line.
Okay.
And then, we didn't have much time. The one time you want the seconds and minutes and hours to slow down a bit, it just didn't work. And no, definitely, I think both sides really, really played their part in terms of getting the deal done.
Now, that begs my point as well. See, from what Mikel Obi is saying, they were very close. Compromises. Were being reached by both sides, both sides of the divide. Victor Osimhen and his agent, Chelsea, and the sporting directors, and the side of things on the club, were both coming to compromises, and it was just that they were suddenly out of time. But that was to be expected. When you're having such a high-profile deal with a high-profile player that's earning a lot, earning a lot of money, 200,000 pounds plus, you have a club like Napoli that is difficult to deal with. You don't wait till deadline day to want to sort things out. And like I said previously, they play a dangerous game of wanting to make the player desperate, where your only option. Everyone else is off the table. No one is even willing to negotiate. So we are the only ones on the table. So take what we have or leave it. But Victor Osimhen wasn't budging. And that's what people don't get. Players value themselves. And in your everyday job, if you're earning £5,000, £10,000 a month, if you're that lucky, and someone calls you in to say, I want to offer you a new role at my company, but you'll be earning £5,000. I mean, wow, there may be an opportunity for you to grow in that job, but you may look at it, I'm earning £10,000. Why should I even go there and earn £5,000? If I'm leaving the company I am at the minute, I should be at least earning what I am earning in my present job or higher. For me, it's just like, you have a girl, let's say a straight guy, you're talking to a girl, she's giving solely you attention, and then you're busy dancing around, joking around, you're dancing with everyone else in the club, and then few seconds before the club closes, you want to rush to her side, and then she's gone. And then instead of manning up and owning up to what you've done, to how you not being a gentleman and failed, you go on to blame her and call her names. And that's what happened with Victor Osimhen. Instead of Chelsea fans owning up and standing up to their board to say, you really, really fluffed your lines on this one. You really, really messed up. You didn't get it right. And for me, that is why some clubs see high level coaches. I mean, high level sporting directors that have dealt at the highest level, because they immediately know how to deal with high profile players, high profile and directors on the other side. And they know they have to start negotiations on this sort of deals early, because with due respect to these sporting directors that we have, Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, they're used to dealing with players that are yet to have their feet planted properly as professional footballers. So at a Brighton, if you're negotiating with a player, maybe he's playing in the second division in the French league, maybe earning £5,000, and then if you offer him £15,000, you've tripled his wages. And that's and that's super for him. But when you're talking with a player, that's led a team to titles, is a key figure for his international side, is earning huge money, has big ego, and you want to keep things to deadline day, in my opinion, it's never going to work out. And unfortunately, it didn't.
And I commend Chelsea for that, because I could see the ambition of where they want to take this club now. And also on Victor's side, I think if we have to pick this back up again, like I said, whatever it is, January or next summer, we know where we are, we know where we've stopped. And it's just a little details that needs to be finalized and the deal will be done. So for me, club is in a very happy place with Victor. Victor is in a very happy place with the club.
Yeah, so that's it. So the final point that John Obi Mikel made at the end, is important, because he said, okay, there is no acrimony between both sides. Just that things didn't work out, and things could possibly be picked up in January with the January break clause that it has in the contract, or in the summer period. So that's good news to hear that it's not completely dead in the water, but there are possibilities that the deal can actually be revived. Now, if the deal can be revived, and if indeed the sporting directors really want to get this done, and aren't just doing PR to yank our chains and pull the wool over the eyes of Chelsea fans, what they should do is negotiations should start now. When you're speaking with the agent, of Victor Osimhen, I heard some rumors that his former agent or present agent, Roberto Calendar, but who knows, maybe he's still his agent, I don't know, because I can't say for sure. So let's just say Calendar for now. You speak with him, you send him an email, you call him, have a negotiation sorted out with him, and then make sure you've had the agreement done. Because usually personal terms are the least of the are the least issues. Usually they are not issues when it comes to negotiating player deals. Usually the deal with the club, agreeing a fee with the club, agreeing a payment structure with the club, that's what usually is the problem, not personal terms. Usually when you hear the reports, the club trying to reach an agreement with XYZ selling club, and personal terms are not a problem. So it was a weird one. Now, personal terms were indeed the stumbling block to this deal. So if indeed you want to get this done, whether it's in January or in the summer window of 2025, you have to start talking to Victor right now to get him on board. And all those people that have been bad mouthing Victor Osimhen for whatever reason, because that's what people do when you don't get a player, as opposed to rather than owning up that you failed in negotiations, you blame the player. Just like back to you trying to ask a young lady out, trying to ask a girl out. Before you ask her out, oh, she's beautiful, she's lovely, but when she turns you down, then we call her all sort of names. She's no longer fine. She's this word, she's that word. And that seems to be the sort of style and approach that football fans try to follow, not just Chelsea fans. Rather than owning up that you made a mistake, the sporting directors fluff their lines. They show their inexperience at the high level, dealing with high level players, high profile players, high level transfer dealings, that they show their inexperience in that regard. And they show their inexperience in that regard, you're blaming someone else. So hopefully going into and there's some other thing that Victor Osimhen said about the interview. He said he likes where the clubs are. They have big plans from the next window. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully they've learned the lesson from this window. If you want to get a top high profile player, you start early so you get the personal terms sorted out before you get to talk with the club. They played the game and they lost, which is, let's make this guy desperate. Let's show him that we are the only option on the table. And, if we're the only option on the table, he'll be so desperate. He wouldn't want to be without a job, and he will just take whatever offer put on the table. And that's the wrong way to go about it, because footballers in this day and age earn way too much money for you to play around with them. Because a footballer a month could be earning up to 400,000, 500,000 pounds. So that player can live on that sort of money for months. So they wouldn't be desperate, especially when it's a player that the club will be ready to take a punt on. Anyways, at this point, I've come to the end of this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think you agree with me that the club got it wrong, or you still want to blame Victor Osimhen? Either way, let me know in the comment section below. At this point, I've come to the end of today's video, but just know that there'll be 2 more uploads today of the Nigeria Football Show. So keep your eyes peeled on here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post a video on the channel on Go Live. So do have a splendid rest of your day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.